Have you ever just wanted to disappear? I mean, truly disappear. Find a place so quiet, so remote, that the rest of the world just can't find you? Well, today we're digging into a story about someone who tried to do exactly that. He found his escape, but he also discovered that when you're completely alone, you might just be the easiest person to find. And that's really the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? It sounds like a warning. A warning about a trip that was supposed to be a peaceful getaway, but turned into an absolute nightmare. So our story starts with a 22-year-old guy who is just completely burned out. You know the feeling. He's not looking for a fun vacation. He's desperate to just unplug from everything, to vanish. And he finds what seems like the perfect spot, this tiny, almost forgotten island off the coast of Maine, a place that promises the one thing he wants more than anything else: total, uninterrupted silence. He's scrolling online and finds this cottage for rent. And right away, a little red flag pops up. The price is way too low. It's available immediately, which is also kind of weird. But he is so desperate to get away from it all that he just ignores that gut feeling, you know? He books it anyway. So he gets to the island, and at first, it seems perfect. But pretty quickly, that sense of peace starts to get, well, a little shaky. The details of his new home for the week start to feel less like rustic charm and a lot more like a warning. The cottage itself is not great. It's basically a box. One single room, the kitchenette doesn't even work. The walls are so thin that the wind whistling outside genuinely sounds like someone is out there, just breathing. But the weirdest thing, on the door, there's a brand new, heavy-duty deadbolt and a thick chain lock. And you have to wonder, in a place this remote, who are you trying to lock out? And then the sun starts to set. The last ferry of the day leaves the dock, and it takes every single other person with it. The island just empties out. Suddenly, there are no streetlights, no people, no sound at all. He is completely, totally alone. Or at least, that's what he thinks. On his way back to the cottage, he spots something that just doesn't fit. Tucked away in this little hidden cove, there's a small blue motorboat, and it's sleek. It's not like the clunky lobster boats you'd expect to see around there. This boat looks fast. It looks like the kind of boat you'd use if you wanted to show up somewhere quietly. He gets back inside, and that's when the final piece of the trap clicks into place. He tries to plug in his phone. Nothing. None of the outlets work. His only connection to the outside world is sitting there, slowly dying. He is well and truly cut off. And this is the moment the quiet little getaway just shatters into pure terror. The silence he wanted so badly is about to be broken in the worst way imaginable. Something wakes him up. A sound. It's footsteps, crunching on the gravel path right outside his door. And they're slow, deliberate. You know right away that this isn't some animal wandering by. That's a person. And then they just stop, right in front of his door. And the silence that follows is 1,000 times worse than the footsteps. He's just lying there, frozen, his heart pounding, just waiting for what's going to happen next. Then he sees it. A thin beam from a flashlight slides across the floor from underneath the door. And then he hears it. The doorknob turns. Somebody is trying to get in. And in that 1 second, he realizes those brand new locks weren't just weird. They might be the only thing keeping him alive right now. The lock holds, so the person outside changes tactics. It's not a gentle knock. It's loud, violent banging. The whole tiny cottage is shaking from the force of it. This person is not giving up easily. And then, just as suddenly as it started, the banging stops, and a man's voice, calm and quiet, cuts through the night. "I know you're in there, Leo." It's not a yell. It's a statement. And it changes everything. Because how? How could anyone on this deserted rock know his name? For the next hour, an entire hour, he just listens to the man's slow, deliberate footsteps circling the cottage, over and over. It's like a predator pacing around a cage. The guy isn't trying to get in anymore. He's just making a point. Finally, he hears the sound of a small engine starting up, that blue motorboat, and it slowly fades out into the distance. When the sun finally comes up, it doesn't bring any relief. The terror of the night before is replaced by this cold, sinking dread as he starts to see the evidence of what actually happened. In the morning light, the whole story is written there in the dirt. He can see the boot prints circling the cottage again and again. And there's a clear path of them leading directly to that hidden dock, where they just stop, right at the edge of the water. And the conclusion is just inescapable. This person didn't live on the island. They came from the sea, walked straight to his specific cottage, and then left the same way. This wasn't some random, creepy encounter. This was targeted. He was hunted. And that one night of terror leaves our narrator with a bunch of questions that have no answers. Questions that are probably going to follow him for the rest of his life. I mean, really think about it. This wasn't some big vacation he'd been planning for months. It was a totally random, last-minute decision to rent a cabin nobody's ever heard of. So how in the world did someone know he would be right there on that night? And here's the question that really gets under your skin. This is the one that makes it so much worse. It's one thing to have a scary encounter with a stranger. It is a whole other level of terrifying when that stranger knows your name, when they can call out to you in the dark on an island where you thought you were a ghost.
And we're left with this final, chilling thought from him. The person who found him once knows who he is. They know his name. And because he has no idea who they are or what they wanted, he just has to live with the fact that they could find him again, anytime, anywhere. The real horror isn't just what happened that night, but the terrifying feeling that the story isn't finished.